Train the muscles, not the joints. So thanks for tuning in again. And today I'm gonna answer a question from a guy named Danny M. So thanks for commenting, Danny. And Danny's asking me, he says, is it practical to discard shoulder pressing altogether and just do side lateral raises and rear delt work in order to develop more capped and rounded delts? There's no right way to answer this question, so I thought I'd make a video about it because it just depends on the circumstance. Logically speaking, it is normal to have some imbalances in your physique from time to time, depending on your training regime and depending on your genetics and your insertion points. And I've been known to develop some imbalances as well. What? I think I might need a little bit of side delt work, or a little rear delt work, I think, around. I can feel that I might be needing a little bit of delt work around, generally around this area. Yeah, somewhere around there. Not really. I think I'm pretty balanced otherwise, but it's a tiny bit of, seems like I'm missing something. And this one. But I'm not going to tell you the exercises that were involved in developing that imbalance. I'll just keep that for another video. But anyway, the bottom line is that can you get away with just doing side delt work or rear delt work? And I'd say yes, because when you're doing bench press or when you're doing shoulder presses, a lot of front delt work is involved. And as much as we want to be able to isolate the chest, it's pretty much impossible whenever you're doing a pressing type movement. You will get some front delt work in that. And if you notice that your front delts are starting to overpower your physique, you want to do a couple things. One is try to isolate the chest more, maybe by starting with a fly type movement or a squeezing type movement first, then go into presses. Okay, that might help you actually establish more of a connection with the chest. But the other thing is, if you feel like your front delts are just developing, but your side delts and your rear delts are lagging behind and you don't have that round look, you want to really start working the rear delt the most, okay? Because that's what's really gonna help you prevent injury. And rear delt and rotator cuff, and I have done a video on it, and if you click on the eye, the secret to training delts, I have a secret video there, and it talks about how effective rotator cuff exercises are for developing that roundness of the delt. What? Now the reason why is because the infraspinatus and a lot of the rotator cuff muscles actually wrap around the shoulder. So whenever you rotate out, these muscles have to wrap around the humerus, and then when you rotate outwards, these muscles are getting activated, and what they do is they actually push the delt out and give it this illusion of roundedness. So most of my roundness came from doing a lot of rotator cuff work as well as side delt work. Okay, it wasn't necessarily from presses, as much as that did contribute to some overall development. But I would say most of the time, about 70% of the time, I'm doing side delt work or rear delt work or rotator cuff work. And this is really important for me because of my dislocating shoulder injury that I have from the hockey injury. But the fact is that this also will help anybody, even with a healthy shoulder. It will actually help you keep your shoulders healthy because you want to have a balanced shoulder. You want to have strength in the rear, strength in the side, and strength in the front. And I've seen a lot of guys like this where they're just bench pressing all the time. They're just doing the bro split, but you know they're doing 70 sets for chest and about 3 sets for back. They're like rounded forward like this walking around, like they've got this rounded, protracted type of situation going on. So you want to make sure that you build some sort of balance, right? Because you can only be as big and as strong as your weakest link. So you want to try to address those weak links as much as possible. Mind, I'm trying to make a video over there, I tell you. So that's the thing about bodybuilding. You just always look at what's happening and then make decisions based on that. And in Danny's case, he may have noticed that his front delt is getting way more developed than his side delts and the rear delts. And he's saying, okay, what's going on here? What should be going on and what is going on might be different. And you have to make decisions based on that. So that's really a big part of the natural bodybuilding game is say, okay, what is my diet doing? What is my sleep doing? What is my stress doing? What is my training doing? What's really happening? Do an assessment and then cater your training program from there. Just like if you have one side bigger than the other, you may decide to go to unilateral training for a while. Perhaps there's some sort of imbalance that's you make these decisions based on what's happening in your training, and so try this out. I would actually recommend most guys to train side delt and rotator cuff work about 50 to 70% of the time, and then the other 50 to 30% of the time doing shoulder presses. It just depends what your goals are, but if you're noticing that something's happening in your body, then make adjustments accordingly. So I hope this helps, and make sure you visit me at naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and take care for now.